The 2025 cycling season will be remembered as one of the most dominant campaigns in the modern era, and perhaps the most extraordinary of them all. Because when you look at what Tadej Pogačar achieved, it's not just about victories, or numbers, or trophies. It's about how he won, with flair, courage, and a level of control that made the impossible look routine. But was it truly the greatest season ever? Was Pogačar's 2025 the new standard for cycling greatness, even beyond Eddy Merckx, the cannibal himself? Let's break it down. It all started quietly. A new year, new ambitions. For most riders, the dream was to survive the season, win a stage or two, maybe a classic if luck smiled. For Tadej Pogačar, it was about rewriting cycling history. Again. The Slovenian superstar had already conquered the Tour de France 3 times, won monuments, Grand Tours, and World Championships. But 2025 wasn't just another season for him. It was a mission to prove that dominance in modern cycling was still possible, even in an age of hyper-specialization, advanced analytics, and marginal gains. And as the months rolled on, it became clear Pogačar wasn't just winning races, he was redefining them. By the end of 2025, his resume read like a fantasy, the kind of numbers that make cycling historians pause and double-check the record books. Tadej Pogačar had won 3 of cycling's 5 monuments: the Tour of Flanders, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and in Lombardia, a triple that no rider had achieved since the great Eddy Merckx back in 1972. But he didn't just win them, he dominated them. At Flanders, he shattered the field with a solo attack that left the cobblestone specialists gasping. At Liège, he outsprinted the best climbers and puncheurs in the world. And at Lombardia, the race that had already become his personal playground, he made history by winning it for the 5th consecutive year, surpassing Fausto Coppi's legendary total and setting a new standard for consistency and control. But even beyond the monuments, the season was filled with highlights. The Tour de France, the crown jewel of cycling, was where Pogačar truly showed the world what makes him different. It wasn't just a victory. It was domination. From the first mountain stage, it was clear he was operating on another level. While rivals like Jonas Vingegaard, Remco Evenepoel, and Primož Roglič fought among themselves, Pogačar seemed unshakable. He won mountain stages. He crushed time trials. He defended the yellow jersey through chaos, crosswinds, and pressure, all while maintaining that trademark smile that hides the suffering beneath. When the race reached Paris, Pogačar had sealed his 4th Tour de France title, joining the pantheon of the greatest ever: Anquetil, Merckx, Hinault, and Froome. But unlike those legends, he wasn't just a Grand Tour specialist. He was winning across every discipline. By season's end, he had amassed 20 professional victories, including multiple stage race wins, monuments, and of course, the World Road Championship title, successfully defending it for the 2nd straight year. Think about that. The Tour de France and the World Championship, both defended in the same season. That's something no one in the modern era has ever achieved. Even his losses told a story. When he didn't win, it wasn't because he was off form. It was because of specialists. Remco Evenepoel in time trials, Mathieu van der Poel on the cobbles, or Matthias Skjelmose in the punchy hills of Amstel Gold. But even then, Pogačar was always there, 2nd, 3rd, never far off. He wasn't just racing the peloton. He was racing the limits of what a single human could achieve in a year. Comparisons to Eddy Merckx's legendary 1972 season were inevitable. Merckx, the cannibal, had won the Tour, the Giro, 3 monuments, and even the hour record, finishing the year with a staggering 41 victories. By pure numbers, no one can match that today. The race calendars are shorter, the competition deeper, and specialization far more intense. But when you adjust for modern context, the level of competition, the technology, the demands of racing across disciplines, Pogačar's 2025 season becomes arguably just as impressive. Because what he achieved came against the strongest and most scientifically prepared peloton in history. Teams now have nutritionists, data analysts, wind tunnel engineers, all working to close the gap. And still, Pogačar made them all look ordinary. His style is what sets him apart. Pogačar doesn't just win, he performs. His attacks are daring, unpredictable, and often launched from impossibly long distances. He wins like he's telling a story, not through calculation, but through instinct. When others play chess, Pogačar plays jazz, improvising in real time, reading the rhythm of the race, and turning pain into poetry. At Strade Bianche, he crashed early but got back up, attacked solo over 80 kilometers from the finish, and still won, leaving his rivals speechless. At Flanders, he rode with the grace of an artist, but the heart of a warrior. And at Lombardia, he crossed the line with calm authority, a man fully aware of the weight of history he'd just carried past. It wasn't just victory, it was theater. Cycling journalists and fans began debating. Could this be the greatest individual season in modern cycling? Many pointed to three things that made the case undeniable. First, the historic breadth of his achievements. No rider in the modern era has won 3 monuments, the Tour de France, and the World Championships in the same year. Not one. Second, sustained dominance. Pogačar didn't just win big races, he won across the entire calendar. From early classics to late autumn, his form barely dipped. 5 consecutive wins at Il Lombardia. No rider in history has ever done that in any monument. And third, the depth of competition. This wasn't the 1970s. Today's peloton is faster, smarter, and more competitive than ever. Winning even a single monument takes perfection. Winning 3 in the Tour in the same year? That's bordering on superhuman. But even Pogačar admits, it wasn't easy. The Tour is really something special, he said after his 4th yellow jersey. It's tiring, long, full of stress. Sometimes it feels like a necessary evil. That honesty showed how much pressure he carried. While he made it look effortless, the season had its breaking points. Injuries, fatigue, even moments of doubt. During the Tour, he battled knee pain that almost forced him to abandon. But he didn't quit. He fought through it, reminding fans that greatness isn't just about power, it's about perseverance. When cycling historians debate the best season ever, there's always context. Merckx raced more often. Hinault was more ruthless. Coppi was more artistic. But Pogačar, he's the perfect hybrid of all three. Like Merckx, he's relentless. Like Hinault, he's fearless. And like Coppi, he rides with elegance. That rare mix of aggression and grace that captivates even those who don't follow the sport. What makes 2025 stand out is that he did it all in the most competitive era cycling has ever known. Every team rides with data, power meters, and strategy models. And still, Pogačar wins like he's immune to logic. Some will still argue Merckx's 1972 season remains untouchable. After all, the cannibal won 41 races, including the Giro, the Tour, 3 monuments, and set the hour record, a level of volume that's nearly impossible today. But here's the catch. The modern cycling calendar simply doesn't allow that kind of repetition. Riders now have fewer race days, stricter training blocks, and tougher competition. So while Merckx's quantity remains unmatched, Pogačar's quality might be even greater. He's achieved peak performances in more specialized events, against stronger opposition, under the constant scrutiny of global media and scientific preparation. And then there's his consistency. From January to October, there wasn't a single month where Pogačar wasn't relevant. He wasn't just peaking, he was performing, everywhere, all year. That kind of endurance is almost mythical. By the end of the year, he wasn't just a champion. He was a symbol of passion, discipline, and sheer joy in competition. Because above all, that's what defines Tadej Pogačar. He loves racing. He loves pain. He loves the chase. While others suffer to win, he seems to win because he loves the suffering. When asked about his record-breaking year, Pogačar smiled and shrugged. "I don't think about numbers," he said. "I just race because I love it. That's the secret. That's the magic." While others race for records, he races for joy. It's what separates him from everyone else. So, was Tadej Pogačar's 2025 the best season ever? Maybe. Maybe not. But it was certainly the most complete, the most inspired, and the most beautiful in modern cycling. He proved that even in an age of technology and precision, instinct still matters. That passion still wins races. And that cycling, at its core, is still about heart. Pogačar's 2025 season will live on as more than a list of victories. It will be remembered as the year one man reminded the world that dominance can still have soul. That perfection doesn't have to be mechanical. It can be human. From the cobbles of Flanders to the peaks of the Alps, from Liège to Lombardia, he carried the sport on his shoulders. And in doing so, he reminded fans why they fell in love with cycling in the first place. Was it the best season ever? That depends on how you define greatness. But one thing is certain, 2025 wasn't just another chapter in Pogacar's career. It was a masterpiece, a story of brilliance, courage, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. And when future champions dream of greatness, they won't just think of Merckx. They'll think of Pogacar, the man who turned 2025 into the season of a lifetime.